Let's call the meeting to order. Danielle, it appears by that clock to be about 7:02. This is our regular meeting rescheduled from a week ago. I think technically that means it's a special meeting, but we're going to call it our regular meeting for the year. I just want to go over the agenda quickly for those of you viewing at home. The first part is the approval of this agenda. The second is to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 21st, 2018. Then we're going to hear from guest Michael Batcher, the BCRC, and Michael Walker, our Pownal Town Administrator, and we're going to be talking about municipal planning grants. Hello, Michelle.
Hello.
We're going to go over the mail, which I don't know if we have any. Did you?
We do.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute, and then we'll take public comment. I am willing to move, if you have some public comment and you don't want to sit through this whole arduous meeting, I'm willing to bump that part of it up to
I'm a fly on the wall.
fly on the wall
I'm a
tonight.
fly on the wall.
Okay.
I'm Jim O'Connor. I'm a fly on the wall.
Jim, nice to see you. Yeah, I'm Mike Slattery. Good to see you. So I'll just leave it down there if you're going to hang out anyway, and then you do have something to say, then you're more than welcome
Thank you.
to chime in. Absolutely, Jim. Welcome. All right, I would entertain a motion to approve these this agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a second, and that's Michelle Peckrell, by the way. This is Danielle. And if there's no further discussion about the agenda, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. So the ayes have it. Motion carries. Yes.
My folder.
Oh yeah, you don't want you flying blind here.
I looked at the agenda before you got here, so.
And there's a help form you gotta fill out and give it to Danielle, okay?
Okay.
Where's my
I don't know where your folder is. Wait a minute, time out. We need to make you one.
Yeah, we'll get
Hey, wait, I got an idea. Let's take a
You're
run.
running now.
Here.
Now he's absent tonight?
Oh, hey, he who hesitates loses, you know, that's the thing. He's usually here a half an hour early, so I'm pretty sure, unless he's out on a water
I had
call.
a busy day.
He may have had a busy day or he's still at it, one or the other. Let's take a look in your packets. You have a copy of the regular meeting minutes. I know Shannon sent these around, if everybody's had a chance to look at them. If not, I'll give everybody a couple minutes to look at the minutes from Tuesday, August 21st, which seems like a year ago. And we do have enough people, 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah, we can approve these. Did everybody have a chance to review them when we send them out? Just to make sure that everybody's taking a look when we do that. I know that's been requested for years. Need more time, or can I have a
I have a motion to move.
motion? We've got a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion about these minutes? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. It's our favorite part of the program. Our guests are about to speak, and Mr. Batcher, you're listed first. May I say first of all, though, congratulations to you and Michael Walker on a great job on our village designation. I mean, fantastic. If, for those of you who don't know it, we've been granted the three that we asked for. There's some changes that the gentlemen here will talk about in a minute, but for the most part, that's a big step in moving forward for this town. So congratulations, great job. And it was a perfect time for me just to go on vacation and get right out of town. Leave Michael here. It was good. It was great baptism by fire, wasn't it, for you? Like, oh, this is how you do a municipal planning grant in the state of Vermont. Yeah, cool. No, good work, guys. So that's really what we're going to talk about tonight. And I don't, Michael, if you want to start, if there's anything in particular that you want to talk about, I just signed the resolution. Whoever would like to go first can
I
go.
can start off because I won't take very long. So
Okay.
you're applying for a municipal planning grant to hire, presumably BCRC, but that'll be decided later, to update your bylaws, focusing on two major. So your town plan identifies multiple areas where the bylaws should be updated. We wanted to focus on economic development primarily, so we would not deal with natural resources or transportation or any of those kinds of things, except for one area, and that's to update your flood bylaws. And the reason we would want to do that is because a lot of your economic development focuses on your village area, and a lot of your village area is in the flood zone. So it makes sense to try
Go
to,
hand in hand.
update those, because otherwise you're gonna have, you may have conflicts later. Yes, build here, oh, now you can't build here, oh, you know what I'm getting at, so, those would be the two focus areas. So other issues wouldn't be, so we'd have to do a follow-up or do other kinds of bylaw change. Your bylaws are, 2011, so a lot of things have
Right.
changed.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that Jim Sullivan is our director, he's our bylaw expert. He would like to suggest that we focus on what are called form-based codes, which are kind of an idea. If you look at the building structure, you don't worry so much about lot sizes and things like that. You're more worried about making sure that the uses kind of fit together visually. So it's not clear doesn't always matter what the use is, as long as it's not like something that's totally outlandish with respect to other things. It's a new thing that many towns are doing, and it does promote development. You don't have to go that route, but it's a suggestion. You'll all learn more about it.
About form-based code.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Mr. Sullivan come down and explain
Yep.
all about form-based code to us once we finally get through this process. We get the grant, hopefully, knock on wood, and then we kick it off, and we'll figure out what route to take as far as that goes.
Is
Fair
there anything
enough.
on the application you want to add, or?
No, the application is largely complete. I'm moving the budget items in for the work plan. I have to upload this material, and I'm hoping before the end of the week to have it in.
I had a chance to look at it before I came in. Shannon sent me a copy of it. The amount that we're putting in, the total cost of it would be about 13,000 and change, right?
Correct.
And so you two guys and Sullivan kind of put your heads together on that to figure that out, or does that come more
That
from
largely came from Michael
BCRC?
as a consultant.
Sure.
He broke that down pretty easy.
Yeah,
I
okay.
showed it to Jim, but
I saw it in there.
he kept lowering the numbers and I kept increasing.
Yeah.
Funny
Some
how that
director he is.
Funny how that
Holy
happened.
mackerel. You're going the wrong way there.
He doesn't work in the private sector, but.
Oh, that's it.
I don't hear I'm on camera saying that.
Yeah, I know.
But no, I think things always take longer. Well, I mean, look how long we spent on village designation. Things take longer than you think, so.
Correct. Correct.
And there's a match to that, so the town would have to match.
10%.
Yeah, which comes out to be $1,197.36.
Right.
That's over 2 years. You can do it.
So the grant's 90 and
Yeah.
the town matches 10% of, or no, the grant is the grant and the town has to come up with 10%
Yeah, the grant
of that
technically is
amount.
11,970. Is that what you're still getting?
Yeah, and you could find that they may come back, depending on how other grants are distributed, and say, we couldn't go 11,000, would you take 8? And then we make the decision. I would say yes, but they don't necessarily give you the entire award. It depends on all competitiveness of the other applications around the state. So.
Okay.
Well,
And completeness of the
Primarily within-
application and things like
all
that.
by the competitiveness within the region. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Manchester, Bennington, Shaftesbury, you, and me are applying for MPG grants.
Sure.
So
You being the BCRC.
I'm doing it for the Bennington County Solid Waste Alliance.
Oh, right,
Because
okay.
all 13 towns have to do a new plan. So
Okay.
whether we'll get that, that's I think we have a good project, but it's not a typical ACCD project. So I have
Okay.
more of a hill to climb.
So we're concentrating on economic development with this municipal planning grant and the changing of the bylaws as it concerns that.
Mhm.
And as you just mentioned, along with that comes a review of the floodplain section, because they all go hand in hand. And,
I thought they did, though. I thought that didn't make
And,
sense. at
and
all.
if I,
Yours is pretty old, and it doesn't, it just didn't make sense to me to leave that in the lurch while we're.
I agree. And as I went down through it and I looked on the application, I went back and looked at my not draft now, that I actually looked at the town plan. There are a lot of changes, a lot of bylaw changes. I thought, you know, is this gonna be like 10 or 12 we're gonna have to wrestle with, but it's pretty substantial, especially when you mix in housing with economic development. So, you know, the consensus is that we're gonna need help with all of that. That's the application for the grant, hiring of BCRC to make sure that we get that right. I think it has to be done first, and it has to be done reasonably fast, not overnight. Obviously, it's just not gonna happen, but, anything else from you guys, or does anybody here on the commission have any comments, or?
Just one thing I'd add is this application does really push doing outreach. In other words, you're not just gonna sit in this room, you're gonna go talk to groups and get them
Right.
involved, talk to business people and say, we wanna do this, what are your thoughts or
Yeah,
concerns?
I did read that.
Do a lot of outreach, and
That's good.
there are a lot of ways to do that, but, I mean,
Yeah,
I think we talked about it, a survey, you could easily do a survey on the Survey Monkey.
Sure.
Using Front Porch Forum, we could use Front Porch Forum to say, hey, there's a survey, go to the survey and fill it out, and you get a lot of ideas that way. It's not that complicated. Make it,
and for that outreach, you need partners as well.
and you can use your newsletter and other kinds of things. Like,
Yeah.
or your economic development committee or whatever else is floating around
Right.
out here.
Right. Including Discover Pownal and the DRB and how it impacts and reflects, how the bylaw changes will reflect
Some
on
people
all
could-
of us here in town.
But some people are going to know you're going to have to go to, because as you
Right.
know, a lot of public doesn't show up at these meetings, and so
Sure, so you gotta reach out to
until you
them.
do a hearing, and then everybody shows up and yells at you.
Yeah, I know. Everyone yells.
That's good. Talk with great energy.
Sometimes we deserve to get yelled at. But,
So, but keep that in mind. That would really be something you all would need to do.
yeah, absolutely. What do we need to do now? I signed the letter of resolution, I looked at the copy that Shannon sent. It looked complete to me. Some of it I couldn't read. It was kind of, some lines were over the other lines, but,
That was just the one that you guys sent me.
Right.
And then
oh,
it's
so you
just-
sent me the,
Yeah, so I
it's
just
not
forwarded
not
it.
the dusted up one. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I worked on it all afternoon, taking all the narrative and putting it in the actual computer years
Yeah,
program, so
yeah.
it's more complete.
You're almost ready to hit the button.
Right. I would request that you actually make a motion and second to resolve
To do that.
to do this.
Right.
As a signed resolution, it would take a motion and a second.
Before we do that, is there any other information you need from the Planning Commission or the BCRC to make sure that that's complete?
We should get all that stuff electronic so you can upload the resolution
Yeah.
and the letter of support or the other letters of support or any other stuff you need.
Okay.
It's all electronic. It all goes up, and then I
Did
guess
we-
someone can look
I
at
have.
it.
I saw the letter of support from Discover Pownal. Did we get one from the DRB?
Not the DRB.
Sid's away till next week. That's the problem. They'll
Yeah.
pass the deadline.
And
No.
here's Department
You
of
did not
Economic
get
Development.
You did not get one? from the
No,
DRB?
I did not.
Oh.
Well, I'm on the DRB.
There you go.
And we have one from Representative Botso.
No, okay.
That's total of 4, maybe 5 with the DRB, and the Board of Selectmen.
I forget who our assistant or the chairperson is, the assistant chair or the backup chair of the DRB.
I don't
Might be
remember.
John Bushy. Might be. I'll double check on that,
Okay.
and maybe we get him to sign something. Or we ask Sid he's in Canada vacationing, to pen a quick letter
Doesn't have to be long, yeah. just-
No.
offering his support as DRB chairman,
Mhm.
realizing the importance of the municipal planning grant in this process.
Mike, you have a hard copy with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at it.
Yeah, you might want to have joint meetings with the DRB too. Or if you can do that.
It's part of the outreach.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's one of the main reasons I got on the DRB. I mean, 12 years on the Planning Commission, and you have to see how the process works right through to the end. All right, so you're all set from us.
I'm
You
all
don't
set.
need anything else from us.
This is just.
Um,
This is just the-
And then, so the thing that Shannon sent around, Fred, was, it's pretty much that, except
pretty much,
Mike,
yeah.
Mike cleaned it up.
I read it really quickly
Yeah.
on my computer screen. I just.
Yeah. So take a minute to read it, and then I'll ask for that motion. And the motion will be to approve the application which you were about to send,
And the resolution.
and the resolution which I have sent signed.
Now, since you're gonna get over $10,000, you will have to go out to bid.
Yep.
If you don't get over $10,000, you don't need to. But,
9999.
yeah, but it didn't.
The
seem-
job's
No,
yours.
that's a lot of
Not
fuss.
going to, I don't,
But
you know,
if I may, I will say, this gentleman here has done,
yeah, but I'm not gonna work on it. Sullivan's gonna work on it.
well, you know, he did
You
a
know, I
fantastic
don't know.
job.
We'll still call him though, don't
Yeah,
worry.
you'll have to just deal with him.
I want to make sure
We've
he
already
gets
broken
recognition
Yeah.
for all the effort he put into this.
Oh,
He likes
listen,
anybody.
that, our town plan, I mean, this guy, he deserves a seat at this table on a permanent basis as far as I'm concerned. And he should be an honorary citizen of Pownal, Vermont. But-
We talk frequently, so.
And he can
When I
pay the
retire,
honorary
you-
taxes
When I
too.
retire, you can
Not
hire me
taxes.
as a permanent consultant, so.
Sure, we'll have to get municipal planning grants every
That's
year
big money, yeah.
to pay for that, but you'll probably be busier in retirement than you are now. All right, you want another minute?
About 1 month.
So we'll get Sid, maybe I'll just draft a letter and have Sid sign it electronically. I don't know how to do that. I'm sure Jennifer knows how to do that. Somebody, you know how to do that, don't you?
Do it.
Electronic signature.
You can forge.
Figure it out.
Just use my left hand.
Shall not with the cameras running here. Yeah, it'll look just like Sid's, I'm sure.
It
when you-
will.
Left hand.
It's a lawyer.
If you have Adobe.
Yeah, you can
just
do a,
there's an
Right,
you
electronic-
can create a signature online and then pop it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to him tonight so we can do that. If not, if he'll authorize me to do it, or I can track down if John Bushy is the backup guy, I'll
Sure.
track him down and just say, I need a paragraph, just say, in support of
Right.
the planning commission's change of bylaws and it's the municipal planning grant for Pownal. The DRB hereby supports that whole thing. We'll come up with
Very
something.
simple.
Yeah.
I think that's already on
You think what?
the radar. I think that's already on the radar.
Is it?
Yep, Sid's already done that.
Sid's done.
The DRB letter. Yeah, I got it in an email.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it came.
Fantastic.
I didn't know it did come, or?
Did just forward it on to Mike?
I don't know if I can. I can, I will
Oh.
though. I will email
Okay.
it to
Thank you
then.
very much.
I think it's gonna be brought up at the
Wow.
DRB meeting.
Good. That's great news. I hadn't heard.
I last time I was up here, I talked to Ellen just briefly. I was here checking mail about a month ago, and I asked her for an expenditure report. It was dated 8/28/18, just to bring you up on other news here. And we have a budget this year of 14,500, and we haven't used a nickel of it so far. So ultimately, copies, I think we're holding off on the final copies of the town plan to incorporate the energy section once we revise that. And along those lines, you and I talked today that that's not the only part that needs revision.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with the energy plan because I've been working on this stuff. So just so you know why, you're probably not gonna get it till November because
Yeah.
I'm away, but basically, I need to make the final revisions to the energy section so you all can look at those. I wanna have Jim Sullivan look at it, make sure that it's approvable. And so I need that checklist that Barbara worked on, I don't know where that is.
Right.
And then the plan says we're going to apply for village designation. Well, now you have village designation, so we have to say we have village designation, and you have to have a map of the designated villages. So I've gotta either I have to make another map, and I may have to renumber all the maps, and so you're gonna have a different, then I'll change the table of contents. So there's a lot of
Little.
mechanical stuff that, well, little stuff, you know, little stuff takes.
Yeah.
So I'll have that for you sometime in early to mid-November, and you can look at it at your meeting. And discuss it.
Ultimately, the floodplain, all of the flood discussion in the town plan, is that all gonna have to be changed as well?
No, that
if
doesn't
we're-
have to change. No.
Just the bylaws regarding development and floodplains
Yeah, that's a
and
bylaw
stuff.
issue. That's already discussed in the town
Yeah.
plan, but
Okay.
it's really the village
So
designation.
really, that's gonna
issue,
be
yeah.
incorporating the fact that we now have village
Yeah,
designations.
a town plan that's adopted after you have village designation has to show that you, show the maps of the village designation, so it makes sense to fix that now.
So we'll need a couple more maps, and we'll need to
Yeah.
redo that section,
Yeah.
take out the section that we were
And
planning.
you'll look at it all before you do anything with it, so I'll,
Sure.
all the changes we agreed to I already just made, so you won't be looking at those anymore, but any new changes I'll highlight
Yeah.
before you looked at it.
All right, great. Any comments?
Yes, item number 13. It is specifically naming and including Empower Pownal as an organization that's gonna be partnering and being
Oh, we're
involved
gonna
in the
change
project.
Yeah, we changed,
That'd
we
be changed
changed
to
that. I beg your
Discover
pardon.
Pownal.
It's Discover
Well,
Pownal.
Either way, it's still the same. It's a contentious organization. Not, the organization itself isn't, but it's been a point of contention in this town
Still?
for over a year. It still is, and it shouldn't be included in that.
Well, what
Well,
organizations would you include?
we need partners to get this municipal
Yeah,
planning grant.
yeah.
Partners that,
Did you
this
outreach for
planning-
other partners? Did we? We didn't.
did we what?
Do any outreach for other partners?
Well, sure, the DRB, the
Right,
BCRC.
so we have those listed there, so.
Yeah.
We have plenty without Empower Pownal, Discover Pownal.
Yeah. Personally, I'm, as you know, absolutely fine with Discover Pownal and the progress that they've made and everything. Any other comments about that before I ask for a
Good catch.
motion?
I'm
Thank you.
fine
The
with Discover
secretary needs to
Pownal.
know he's reading.
Yeah, what are you reading?
Oh, he's reading the municipal planning grant application.
They were listed as a partner.
And it's section what, 13?
13.
Section 13. First thing that Fred points out is that Empower Pownal is
doesn't-
cited in
Discover
there.
Pownal.
It should be Discover Pownal.
Well, it
In
says,
this one, it's Discover
But that's
Pownal.
not
I don't
his
see Empower Pownal.
contention.
My contention is it shouldn't necessarily have to be included. We have the planning commission, we have the development review board.
What does this inclusion, what does
Should
this?
not even include, he doesn't want it even included as a partner in this municipal planning grant application.
What would,
Did I say that
including
all
them,
right?
and what would be the legal ramifications of including them as a partner?
None. There are no
What is the
They're an
objection?
They're an
The objection
existing,
is this town has been divided for over a year, and the division began with that project. Okay, and it still is not resolved in a lot of people's minds, and it's like basically brushing off people who were and still are opposed to that project. You just bypass all objections and just.
it's not brushing them off, but
Yeah.
it's
I don't,
just saying
I
that.
don't really wanna,
debate
Well, we
it
could
here.
have
I don't
other
wanna relive the
groups.
past year and a half, I really don't.
There's
Right.
nothing to relive. The
Yeah.
point of this is that this grant is looking for other community organizations.
Yeah.
So,
That are interested in.
Michael?
And guess who appears front and center right out the gate?
there are a lot of volunteer committees that
Okay.
are formed. There's
Well,
a
you know,
recreation committee, there's a farm
I'm just
committee,
I'm raising my objection.
There's
This
an
doesn't have
economic
to-
committee.
This doesn't have to
there's an
pass,
economic development
this doesn't have to
committee.
pass unanimously. I'll be voting no based on that.
Okay. Let's ask for a motion.
Can I say one
Oh,
thing?
Michelle,
Just
please.
because this, it did come up at last week's wasn't last
A
week's,
couple weeks.
two select board meetings. It came up again because, yes, it was a contentious thing. And there was a petition that had been submitted about not spending money on projects that came from that without a vote. Many people signed the petition, it was ignored. So yes, it's
Was money
still,
spent on?
yes, the parking,
$300
the
was
parking.
spent on the parking.
It doesn't matter because the thing is, and that was a thing that Steve McKay was asking about, was accounting for any project, because $300 here, $200 there. We wanted to also see if money is just gonna be spent after people had asked about it not being spent, where it grew from, you know,
But
you
you-
spend,
but-
spend a bunch of a little money, it grows to big money. What the thing was is that people still feel ignored on the issue, so
But
it
if-
is still a
they,
bad.
they have to
point.
understand that a petition is not a legal document, it does not.
We all understand
It's
there's
just
no point
understand.
at all of ever submitting a petition in
Okay.
the town for anything.
I,
I'm just saying.
proven.
but that's gonna be
where the feelings
litigated
are from,
with the
right.
select board, has really, I understand your personal concerns, but the motion that I'm asking for is to approve this application that Mr. Walker is ready to send, along with the town resolution signed by the select board and your planning commission chair, to the state of Vermont for a municipal planning grant. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Fred says no.
No, I didn't have a chance to read it in full.
Okay. Motion carries. All right. Anything else?
Now, let me clarify. I don't have any animosity towards you or anybody, or Mike, anybody that, you know, is part of or involved in that group. Okay, I don't have, it's not personal
Good.
things, it's the organization and
The process.
Yeah.
the organization upstream I have a problem with.
Good.
Well, I think it's important to clarify that there is nobody upstream now. This is a
Yeah.
Pownal-based organization.
You know, I'm not-
The concerns that you had seems to me that were about what could happen.
Mhm.
Now we have 4 groups that are working on farm.
I do know that organization is upstate, and there's other towns involved, and they are concerned as well, and they are feeling the same thing that people in this town felt.
Well, if you're talking about the Vermont Council on Rural
Yes,
Development,
exactly.
they are not guiding
Right.
any.
Well, and that's
any of
that's
our
all
actions
that's what
are
I'm
out of
saying,
the
I
picture at this
have
point.
no animosity towards you or
I have a-
anybody.
I have a-
Right.
I don't.
Good.
Well, I just want to clarify
Yeah.
that right now, there are
One at a
4
time.
committees.
Mhm.
There's recreation, there's farm viability, there's
They're all-
small business
You're all
Let her
development.
finish,
wonderful,
please.
wonderful, good
And-
people doing good things.
Well, I
And
just
there's
want
Pownal Proud.
to, and then there's Pownal Proud, which
Yeah.
is the cleanup committee and environmental
Yep.
conservation stuff. You know, all 4 of those issues, when we did that vote, there was broad consensus on in this town.
It's-
and it
the
is-
votes happened, I would like to say, there's, besides that one group, there's other organizations, other town committees and commissions. I want to see them driving this whole thing. I
There's
don't want to
no-
see Empower Pownal, Discover
Yeah.
Pownal driving anything in this town.
This is not about driving anything.
Yeah.
This is about,
Yeah.
this is an
Volunteering.
organization
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, yeah, I
we're
just-
happy
yeah.
to help get the word out.
Yeah.
You know, and that if you have another organization that wants to get the survey out that's gonna be developed, wants
Yeah,
to lead a
bring
focus
them, bring them
group,
forward.
there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
When we reach out
So
here,
Rotary clubs, or there,
Oh, hey.
what is there out there?
there's not,
There is
not,
a regional Rotary Club in Bennington. I'm not sure if there's a membership with anyone in town.
What is there?
No, it used to be.
There's
Used to be the
everything was here,
president.
we had Lions Club, we had a lot of things.
And you had your hand up, you wanted to say
Yes, I
something.
did want to say something, because I think
We recognize Mr.
intelligent.
Winchester.
we're intelligent enough here to handle some of our problems, and I'll give you a good
Absolutely.
case, is the biomass problem. And with a huge monster with a lot of money and a lot of input,
Yeah.
and I think the Pownal people handle it very well.
Absolutely handled it
You
great.
can stand up to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we
I
stood up
agree.
very well.
And really, I mean, it's fine to disagree on these matters. You know, the vote was to apply for it as
Don't
it's
worry about
written,
it.
and the first thing that was in
Thanks for
there was
observation.
Discover Pownal as a partner who supports this municipal planning grant process. That's all for tonight. So that motion carried for 4 to 2. Michael, whatever else you need from us, you've got the go-ahead.
Thank you. I'm good.
So, my pleasure. All right, Danielle, you know, I never really officially, in front of everybody, acknowledge you. This person sitting to my left here is Danielle Hamilton. She is our new secretary. She's also the secretary for the DRB, which meets every once in a while. It's not as demanding as this, though. You'll find it more of a pleasure. And we welcome you. So, yeah, you bet, absolutely. So the last thing on the agenda here is to go over mail and then hear public comment if Mr. O'Connor would like to say anything in light of
I
everything.
have another.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
Can we do that now?
You have something, you did say you have something else. Yeah, so hang on, we'll do the mail in a second.
I'm gonna stand over here because I want to make sure this is on the camera.
Okay.
So, emerald ash borer has been found in Pownal and Stamford.
What is?
Oh, yeah.
Emerald ash borer will probably decimate all of the ash trees in the Northeast. It's already done that in the Midwest. So we've been approached by Vermont Parks and Forests to hold a meeting on November 14th where we want all the towns to come. You'll be seeing a lot more information on it, but what I want to do is make sure I get out to the towns and we try to work with you to try to find out your vulnerable areas and what we can do to, the process is called slow the spread, reduce the rate at which these are spread, which is primarily by people moving firewood. But there are other ways too. So it's a big issue and we're hoping people will be interested. You'll see more information soon, but it's a real problem species.
Yeah, no doubt. It's already doing a lot of damage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
spread the word around the town. Let people know that we will have this meeting on November 14th. It'll be in Arlington from 4 to 6 p.m.
Can't move firewood around. That's the hard part, and it happens all the time.
Well, it was a blessing for the biomass.
Yeah.
We didn't want all that wood coming in.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We're in Arlington at the town hall.
We're in Arlington as a town hall. It's right on 7A.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's where it'll be.
And what's the Vermont agency that's going to be?
Vermont Parks and Forests. We probably have the Forest Service too. There was just a big meeting in Bennington on this subject too, which was good. So we're going to
Okay.
keep having meetings until people listen,
Arlington.
because we'll start to see changes.
Can I ask one question on that?
Absolutely.
It says a ash tree owner,
Yeah.
is it absolutely impossible to stop? Is there anything that could stop
There
it? Or it's
there
just-
are injectable pesticides.
Yeah, okay, good.
They
So-
are pricey and they require treatment like anywhere from 1 to 5 years, depending on the pesticide.
But so is Vermont allowing use of that pesticide?
I assume they are. It's just a matter. It's probably something in some places. In some cases, the big issue is trees falling on roads and within the right of way. I mean, let's say you have a main street with lots of ash
got
trees.
one ready to fall on my
Let me
house.
finish. Let me finish. So let's say you have a main street with lots of trees that are going to fall in the right of way. One option is to take them down before they die. Another option is you could treat them. It's not something that's going to be done in the forest at large, where you have thousands and thousands of trees. No one's going to go around with a spray. And it's
Right.
basically an injection. You stick it in like a
Big needle.
yeah, like a needle.
Tree
Big
needle.
needle. So yeah, you could do that,
Strong needle.
and that'll work, hopefully. But it will be
So there is an option to stop it.
yeah, and you would have to get a professional.
Probably
It's not something you do. You're not going to buy this stuff at
The
Home
roots, I
Depot.
think.
That was a personal question, because I have a lot of
No,
ash trees.
that's
I'm
big.
worried about it.
We'll get a
So
pesticide
what
license.
That's what we're here for.
What time is this meeting?
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
And you're going to send an email out.
We'll get announcements.
Yeah.
We'll just let you know that this is
14th.
coming. We've actually talked to the Forest Service about having multiple meetings. I'd like to try one and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to
Yeah.
have getting everybody to go to one place is hard. So.
Sure is.
I'm letting everybody know I'm meeting with. I went to Arlington last night about a totally different subject and talked to them, and now I'm talking to you. So everywhere I go, I'm going to spread the word about emerald ash.
Well, it's going to be tough to stop the spread of it, isn't it?
Besides
Yeah,
the
Michelle.
besides the ash, does it affect into other trees or just the ash?
Not as far as we know.
Right now, it's the
There,
ash.
there are other things that'll affect the other trees. There's
Yeah.
a new
Maple.
or a moth that's come out that does a number, and then there's Asian longhorn beetle, which is
And there's-
south of us now, but that's working its way north, and that will kill everything.
And there's that, what's the one in the hemlock?
Yeah, you have hemlock woolly adelgid here
Oh,
already.
that's
Willia
bad, too.
Delgin,
Yeah.
yeah. We already do have that?
Yes, that's in Pownal.
Wow. I look
That's been
back
here.
at it. I grew up North Adams, and Church Street used to be lined with Dutch elms, huge Dutch elms,
Yeah.
all gone. all gone. Not a one left. Just unbelievable what it can do.
So there's lots of work being done. There are actually some parasites that have been found, native and non-native, that will go after the boar, and woodpeckers are great. They really
Yeah.
go after it.
I had a flock of them, which I've never seen them in a flock. I've always seen individuals.
Woodpecker.
I had probably 60 or 70 in my yard
Wow.
yesterday. And because I was looking, I'm like, what is that? And then binoculars, I'm like, okay.
So we're all woodpeckers.
Yeah, like 60 or 70.
Good
Just
food eating,
flying,
good eating.
flying in, up into the trees, flying back down.
That's
This is
amazing.
the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's really cool.
Do you
Yeah.
need me anymore?
Yeah, you're staying right to the end. If we're staying, no,
The mail is-
no, you may.
Letters
Thank you
from
for
the
that
end.
announcement.
Nobody ever writes me a
Yes, you.
letter.
Yes, you may leave.
The only letter I get is from the IRS.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Michael,
All right.
and thanks for your work
Yeah.
on
Well,
on this
we hope you get
municipal
the grant.
planning grant and the village designations.
So it
And,
probably won't be
and
a
thanks
job.
to the committee and the village designation and great
So
work.
for the Pownal Village, South Pownal, they just chopped off the trailer
South
park.
Pownal?
Yeah.
Chopped off the trailer park.
Yeah, they took off.
They
the
did. They
trailer
didn't want to deal with trailer parks.
Well, and I'm going to call Mark Garrity about that and let him know that because he had asked if they would be when we talked to him at the public hearings for the town plan. He asked me specifically if they were going to be eligible for it, and I said, only if we can get it in the application in the zone. Yeah, and
You can always go back and
and-
ask for an amendment, but
Yes.
at least now you have it. And
yeah, and it
Move forward with
doesn't.
that.
It's not a real. What's the reason, Michael? It's just not that it's not an economic growth center.
There's nothing in those areas that meets the statute language. There's no historic house or building.
Right.
There's no commercial, no industrial. So it's just
Right. It's not a mixed use.
not mixed use whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
And that-
they felt based on their interpretation of the statute and precedent, they had to leave it out. And again, they gave a whole bunch of things our way that we could do.
Okay.
So they didn't leave us in the cold, and they were very
No,
nice about it.
I think
They're
they're
very
more than
helpful.
willing to work with us.
Yeah,
on
they're very
all of
helpful,
that,
very
by the
willing
way.
to work with us. I've already got some
You know,
information.
the key now is to, I don't know if market it is the right word or not, but put the word out, the reaching out to the public that now that we have these things, having seminars, here's what's available. If you have a business in this village, here are some of the things you can do. Here's what that area can do in the way of sidewalks and
we'll do a press
lighting,
release.
things
Do a
like
press
that.
release.
I think we need to do a press release first. And,
Actually, I was going to accomplish that sometime this week.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's great. Good work on that. Okay, let's Michael, thank you.
See you all.
Mr. Batcher,
Have
thank
a
you.
nice night.
Danielle, the mail, yeah, you handed me this, and this is part of what we put in under other business and mail. And
ride, Michael.
well, this is Nelson's zoning administrator monthly log. I can never read it, but I'll take a crack at it. This is June, July, and August. Number of applications. Was this just new up there? Was that just in the mailbox? Yeah. Oh, okay. This looks familiar. Did we read this one before? Or is he just copy the same one every year? No, I'm only kidding, Nelson. Number of applications received 6. Number accepted 6. Number returned 0. 4 verifications of the 6. 2 were permits. 1 for a home, 1 for a deck. Big deck, huh? Didn't need a permit? Number forwarded to the DRB 0. That's why the DRB hasn't met in 2 months. Number of applications in progress 2018. Status, permits and verification are complete for this time period. So thank you, Nelson, our zoning administrator, who, by the way, his tenure ends, of course it ends if he's elected to the State House. Fred's hoping that he's not elected to the State House and he stays on
As
as
is
ZA.
Jim is as well.
And Jim is as well. That's right. We've got the independent, the Republican. Yeah, Nelson's missing, equal time here on Cat TV. However, it's our job to advertise and interview new zoning administrators.
Oh, the planning commission does that?
Yes.
Planning Commission does
And
that. We
recommends
become
to
like
the board.
we become like human resource experts overnight, and you know we've done that
Where,
before.
When will the
Did-
official be up? Even if he's elected? Or how long is
I
his
think
term?
it's March of next year anyway. So even if he's not elected, I
Is that a
don't.
paid position or a volunteer?
It is a
Oh,
paid
yes.
position.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I just want to let everybody know that. Well that was
What-
quite a
what kind
process
of,
in a couple of different times.
What kind of expertise will we be looking for? What kind of background?
Well, somebody who can read and understand our bylaw books as far as zoning and subdivisions.
Okay.
Somebody who understands the application process in there, and somebody who can enforce our bylaws. So somebody who can go interpret the bylaw and say you're in violation of it or you're now complying with it.
Mhm.
So backgrounds, building backgrounds, we've had builders, we've had electricians, we've had every walk of life, we've had students come in. Person does not have to be from Pownal. You can actually share a ZA with another town, or they can live in another town. So there's a lot of things that we'll get to, but I'll clue everybody in on that and as that comes around. Michael,
You need any assistance with those types of things, I'd be happy to
fantastic.
put those out for you.
Yeah, good. Thank you, sir. Mail. Any other mail in there?
There is a-
Tons of stuff.
There is a Vermont League of Cities and Towns Fall Planning and Zoning Forum on Wednesday, October 17th at Lake Maury Resort in Fairleigh.
Yep.
That's about the same thing. There's the August and September newsletter of the VLCT.
You know, as the new secretary, you're required to go to all of these things. Okay.
There's an email for a land use permit for William Barney.
I got one.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Shannon.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's an application for land use. It's been done already.
Mm-hmm.
It's been approved. So it's an approved one, signed off on. So he's got all of his water lined up and everything on his, I think he's doing a subdivision and building up there, isn't he? Bill Barney? Yeah. Okay,
That is it.
that's about it?
That's it for me.
Fantastic. Okay. So, from time to time,
Go to all these conferences.
will you
never
be
go to
stopping
work.
in here, or just on the nights that you're gonna
No, I'm in here pretty
regularly?
Yep.
Do me a favor, I mean, I'll stop too as we get mail. If you think that's something that needs attention right away before a meeting, just give me a holler. Just say, hey, something just came. Especially if it's like a legal looking document from a lawyer. You know, you might wanna
Putting
just.
it on the agenda. Or just
Yeah, no,
so
just
you
put
have
it under mail. If it comes in the form of mail to the Pownal Planning Commission, it'll just stay on the agenda as mail. The other thing that we generally add to that, after guests and things like that, is other business. That gives us an opportunity to bring up some things that, like tonight, we really could have talked just for a few minutes about the energy section and where we stood there. It would have been brief, but it would have fallen under other business tonight. So. Great job. Good job. All right. Is there any more business before us tonight? Sir, would you like to say a few words, or are you
I don't
just-
think I really should.
Okay.
No, as Fred mentioned, I'm also running for state rep, it's Jim O'Connor. But I have a dumb question, just for me. What's the energy plan? What kind of, what is it?
It's a section of the new town plan.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
What we do you don't have a copy of the town plan? You should pick one up
No,
here
I've seen
and
it.
take a
Always
look
look
at
at
it
it,
and read the energy section.
Always a
The
little
energy
more
section.
thick.
Yeah, the energy section is the thickest. That's the thickest part, right? The energy section, and the energy section addresses siting for solar and wind. It talks about kilowatts used for the town and municipal buildings and things like that. It's a deep, pretty heavy section.
That's sort of misleading because the town plan says that there's no place where wind can be installed and there's no appropriate place. in
Well, no,
town.
that's what I mean, it governs that.
Yeah.
It governs
Well, I
that.
just didn't want to get
Oh,
letters.
no, not at all,
Have
and
people
just
up
so
in a
everybody understands that our,
Panic about
so,
when,
so our current town plan has an energy section, we just adopted that town plan in May. By the time we adopted the town plan and the energy section was out of date already, according to the state of Vermont, the Bennington County Regional Corporation and the Public Utilities Commission. So we need, and we've hired the BCRC to help us put together an amended section in this new town plan that meets all of those standards of the state and the Public Utilities Commission. Public Utilities Commission can override any town plan, anytime, but they do give what's called deference to town plans that are written correctly and discuss those things like siting of wind, large-scale wind and solar and things like that, Jim.
They suggested they may give deference.
They may.
They may.
Or
They
no.
didn't give any deference to Bennington just recently.
Yeah.
They ruled against Bennington.
Something was just voted down, a solar array in Bennington.
No, that's a go.
Would,
Whoa, I talked to Michael Batcher today and,
Today?
I mean, and he said to me, well, listen, I'm not gonna, maybe we're talking about two different
Yeah,
things
yeah.
too.
Well,
So-
there were two, and there
So
was
one-
one, and there was one that I believe was like, it was a no-go, then there was one that was on the fence, and then there was something about a money amount recently, and
Well, the
I
one,
think it went through, cause I saw there was.
yeah, the one that was a no-go, the development company came back
Yeah,
and sued
Mhm.
and took them to court,
Right.
and their section, newly written energy section, stood the test, the legal test.
right, yeah, the second
I don't know
one,
about
think
the second
went
one, but,
through.
you know, I would have to see the circumstances as to why it didn't. It may have been a lot
It
more
was-
open
it was-
and
it was
shut.
posted
They
on,
referred to
like-
the previous plan.
Yeah, it was posted like on Bennington Blonde.
Because it started prior to the prior plan. All right, well anyways,
thank you.
you get a long-winded way of saying that it governs everything to do with energy, including the light
But,
bulbs.
but all types, you mentioned solar and wind. We have
Biomass,
coal-fired electricity.
biomass, all of it, yeah.
Okay, how about natural gas? Running natural gas up Route 7.
Yeah, we do talk about natural gas in there, but it's not a big
But it's in there.
contention right
There's a
now.
pipe in there now? We have that natural gas going through?
No, we
I
should.
didn't
No.
see, I didn't
We
see
should.
any of the,
We should.
oh, I didn't see any
I
of the posts.
would encourage you to take a
Yeah, thank
good look at it and then realize it's being rewritten.
Thank you.
there's a copy of the
So-
library if you need it.
In our next meeting, Jim, we'll probably approve the updated version of it that we've worked on with Mr. Batcher, and we'll go to public hearing. We're required, anytime we amend or change our town plan, to have a public hearing. We have one, then it goes to the select board, they need 2 public hearings on the issue. So this is gonna be around for a while and give you an opportunity to really study it and ask
Thank you.
some good questions. So, and good luck. Okay, if there is no more business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to adjourning? No? I don't get too many of those.